welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast Special Edition Show. This is going to be a series of episodes of the 2023-24 College Basketball Prediction Show. We are going to start in the ACC, so each Power 6 conference gets its own show. Then I'm going to combine 4 of the Tier 2 high majors, which is like the American, Mountain West, WCC, and the Atlantic 10. And then the rest of the mid to lower majors will be on a show. So that altogether would be 6, 7, 8 shows. And then the 9th show will be my first bracket projection of the season with my predictions for the Final Four national title and the National Player of the Year, National Coach of the Year, etc. And at the end of every show, we are going to do some futures. So we're going to start the ACC. So let's get right to it. So I have winning this conference, the Duke Blue Devils. Duke's loaded. Tyrese Proctor and Kyle Filipowski are back. Jared McCain and Caleb Foster are good freshmen that they're going to be relying on. This Duke program is up and coming. Not that it's up and coming in general, but it's like up and coming in terms of the talent they're getting for this year and for next year too, with the addition of Cooper Flagg for next year. But John Shire really has done a fabulous job recruiting this talent here, and there's still questions for me whether he is a great coach or not. But he's done a nice job with the recruiting. Now let's see it all come together on the court. Coming in second, I have the Miami Hurricanes. I think Miami should be proud of the run they had last season. Nigel Peck and Norcott Omir are back. They lose Isaiah Wong, which is a big deal. Jim Larinaga could just flat out coach, and he's one of the more underrated coaches in the entire country. Coming in third, I have the North Carolina Tar Heels. This is my bounce-back team in the ACC. Armando Bacot's back. Caleb Love's gone. Herbert Davis is another can-he-actually coach guy. I know they lost in the national title game 2 years ago to Kansas, but after last year's dismal season, there's a lot of questions about Hubert Davis and whether he is a good coach or not. Alia Cadeau is a good freshman ad for them. So we'll see with Carolina. Coming in fourth, I have Virginia. Tony Bennett's teams are always in the mix, it seems like. Reese Beekman's back. He's the point guard of the team. We'll see with the depth of this roster. Fifth, I have Clemson. Clemson had a really good year last year. I think they'll be back in the mix. And Brad Brunell is back again. Last year, he saved his job. But let's face it, he's another disappointing year away from being fired. It's kind of like Tom Crean when he was at Indiana, in a way. But now it's with Brunell at Clemson. PJ Hall's back for them, the big guy, which is good. He's going to be up there for ACC Player of the Year. Coming in sixth, I have the Pitt Panthers. Pitt wasn't that bad last year. They have Blake Hinson back. They have a good freshman coming in, Carlton Carrington. Jeff Capel's really done a nice job with Pitt. And we'll see how they do this year. Coming in seventh, I have Syracuse. So Jim Boeheim is obviously gone. And replacing him is Adrian Autry. We'll see how he does. Judah Mintz is back at point guard. He'll lead the way for them. Eighth, Boston College. BC has some guys coming back. Quentin Post, a transfer. Or not transfer. Fifth-year guy. They have a good freshman redshirt, Donald Hand. So we'll see with Boston College. They've been at the bottom of this league for years, and Earl Grant. So this is year 3 for Earl Grant. 9th, I have Wake Forest. I don't think this Wake team is very good at all. I just feel that. So Wake really doesn't have anybody of note coming back, which is unfortunate for them. And their coach is Steve Forbes. Possible hot seat guy, I don't know. In 10th, I have Florida State. Florida State is in a little bit of a rebuilding stage of Leonard Hamilton still there, so maybe they're the better than expected team in the ACC this season. 11th, NC State. They really don't have much talent either. And their coach is Kevin Keats, who's been there for a while now, amazingly enough. Coming in 12th, I have Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech really doesn't have much talent either. The ACC as a whole just isn't as good as it used to be. Georgia Tech, I have in 13th. That's another team that doesn't really have much talent. Damon Stoudemire is now their coach. Coming in 14th, Notre Dame. Notre Dame is in a transition with Micah Strawberry there now, coming over from Penn State. And at the bottom, I have Louisville. I just think Louisville's a hot mess. Year 2 for Kenny Payne. That's just a train wreck of a team, unfortunately. So, awards. Player of the Year, I have Kyle Filipowski from Duke. I think he's the best player in the conference. On the best team in the conference, it was just easy. Coach of the Year, I'm going with Jeff Capel of Pitt. I have Pitt in the tournament this year, spoiler alert, and I think that there's a possibility that they get off to a good start and win double-digit games in the conference. And the freshman of the year, I'm going with Elliot Cadeau of North Carolina. I think he's a really fine player, and he'll help the Tar Heels in what should be a bounce-back season for Hubert Davis's club. So, bold prediction of this conference, I think Kenny Payne gets fired. I think that Louisville's a disaster, and they don't have the talent, and they were just awful last year, and honestly, if they don't win more than 14 games, he's out. I'm sorry. This is Louisville. You're supposed to be a blue blood school, and here you are at the bottom of the league. And doing it for the second year in a row, that won't bode well with that school and that athletic director. So I think they move on from Kenny Payne after the season. Okay, teams I have in the tournament. Duke, Miami, North Carolina, Virginia, Clemson, Pitt. So 6 in the ACC in the tournament this year. I would not be shocked if it ended up being 5. But I think that Pitt is going to overachieve this year. And also, I wouldn't be shocked if it was 7. I think Syracuse will go to the NIT. I think Boston College's NIT, Wake's NIT. Florida State, I think, is right there. I'm going to say they're in the NIT. NC State, I think, misses the NIT. I think they're a disappointment this season. And now so some futures on FanDuel. So conference outrights. They have a lot of them. Good on FanDuel. So Duke's the favorite, plus 110. North Carolina's 5-1. Virginia, Miami, plus 650. Clemson's 12. Virginia Tech's 19. So is NC State. Wake's 26. Pitt's 50. Syracuse is 50. Florida State's 55. BC, Georgia Tech, 120. And Louisville, Notre Dame, 250. I will probably would take Duke and parlay them with a different team that's kind of not a lock, but likely to win their conference, like a Kansas or somebody like that. But the value to me is on Clemson at 12-1 because they bring back PJ Hall, and granted that's not a great team, but Brad Burnell, again, under a ton of pressure to win. So Clemson 12-1 to win the ACC is a very good value bet for the conference. So other storylines for the conference. Rookie of the year in the conference, I'm going to obviously say Elliot Cadeau, as I mentioned. I have Duke winning it. I think the coach that's most likely to get fired is Kenny Payne, as I predicted. I think that Micah Strawberry will show improvement with the Irish. They'll improve under him. I think they'll certainly be better than Louisville this year. So I'm going to say that could be a surprise potential dodge the bottom 5 team. A surprise top half finishing team, I have Syracuse. Maybe there's a Ewing theory with Jim Boeheim. Judah Mintz is a good point guard. He could be an all ACC talented player. I gave out Clemson 12-1 as a long shot to win the ACC. I don't think they're going to win it, but it's just a fun long shot pick. A team that I think is going to disappoint in this conference is Florida State, considering where that program's been in the past with Leonard Hamilton. Although that could be a better than expected team because the roster's not very good. Other hot seat guys in this conference, maybe Steve Forbes, maybe somebody like Earl Grant if things go poorly there. If North Carolina's bad again, that could be the dark horse hot seat guy, and Hubert Davis. How much longer will Jim Larinaga coach is a good storyline for the ACC. He's been there a long time. He is 74 years old, which is crazy. I thought he was a little older than that, but he's 74 years old, but he's a freaking awesome basketball coach. Kevin Keats has to be a hot seat guy for NC State. Mike Young has been with Virginia Tech for a long time. Maybe he's a hot seat guy. Will Georgia Tech improve under Damon Stoudemire? So I think there is a lot of storylines here for the ACC, but North Carolina is going to bounce back in a big way, I think. I think that Clemson could surprise again. Florida State's going to disappoint. Louisville is just an abominable mess. They lost a bye game in the preseason. And I think Kenny Payne could very well be out the door. So there you have it for the 2022-23 ACC predictions. Next up will be the Big East.